This is going to be a favorite in your household for years to come. Okay, here's the deal. In most of the country, spring has arrived, but guess what? It's not like you can just go out and start low temp smoking or breaking out the barbecue just yet. We're probably a month away. And what better way to celebrate if you're hankering for ribs, but you can't quite get outside to the grill, than with braised ribs, especially Thai-style braised ribs with lemongrass sambal. This, my friends, is what you want to eat for dinner. Stick around. I'm going to show you how to make it. So the first thing that you got to do is prepare your ribs and get them tucked away in a bowl. I always find it easier to do the bigger, messier butchery work first and foremost. Like you, this is how I buy baby back ribs. These are a nice all-natural Minnesota rack. We're a big pork producing state here. I got these at a local butcher shop. And what I want to show you how to do is I want to show you how to break them down by cutting in between the ribs. And you can cook them that way, or you can cut them in half and make them riblets. Now, sometimes what I do is I ask the butcher to run it on his bandsaw this way. And then when I cut between the ribs, that work is already done. But I know a lot of people are buying these at stores where you're getting the ribs in a pack, or there is no butcher with a bandsaw. So I want to show you what we're going to do. We're literally going to cut in between each bone. And then if I do that again, let's see if I can do this. I have a nice sharp cleaver. If I do this again, right, you can see that I have a nice meaty rib, right? And you can brown them and braise them this way. But I think it's more fun, especially for sharing at a Chinese style meal, if you take the rib, you place it on your cutting board, and using a heavy cleaver, and I'm talking about a heavy one, not a thin one, you literally bang right in the middle. So what we want to do is we want to take this one cleaver, sort of an everyday cleaver, and just cut between the bones. Some of these bones are really, really, really thick. So if you want to go through them, you got to use a super heavy cleaver, right? An everyday cleaver, pretty thin, regular chopping. This is a badass meat cleaver. And this badass meat cleaver makes short work of these ribs. And what's nice about this is that there's more ribs for everyone to share. Can you believe how thick these bones are? It actually takes me 2 stabs. I'm coming down with quite a lot of force, and I'm pretty used to doing this. I mean, that's a thick bone. But big cleaver makes short work. Now on to our seasoning mix. I have a blending cup here that I'm going to use my immersion wand for. And we're gonna put some fresh Thai chilies, 3 of them, 12 garlic cloves, 5 scallions. I'll chop those up so that my stick blender doesn't have to work as hard. Then I'm gonna throw in some shallots. I'm gonna throw in 4 shallots. Quarter them my immersion wand. Make shorter shrift of these. See, this is getting taller and taller, but I'm gonna put a little oil in there, sort of help it along. Then the last thing that I wanna do is I'm gonna add some lemongrass. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is take the green tops sort of off of these. And then I'm gonna take whatever sort of outer leaf off these. It's usually dirty, dusty. You may need to take 2 in some cases. It's rare, but sometimes it's best. Like this one. Take the outer 2 leaves off. This one's fine. Just take the outermost leaf, single, off. And when I get down here, I'm going to hit this with the back of the knife. And what happens is it reveals this plug. And that plug right there, it's hard. It comes right out of the bottom. It's that root end. You just bang on it, kind of like snapping asparagus. Bang with the end or the front of your knife, whatever you're more comfortable with. And then when you snap it, this piece comes right out. And then all this other stuff in there is beautiful lemongrass. Lemongrass is extremely fibrous. It is easy to cut yourself when you are cutting lemongrass. So use the bottom 3 or 4 inches of your knife with your hand right on top of it. And then, when you have all these rings, pile those inside of your cup here. Then we're going to puree all this, and this becomes a sambal that we're going to fry. But first, we have to add some dried chilies. All right, these are dried chilies from my garden from last year. I have all kinds. And I'm going to add a handful. I've got some cayennes. I've got some Chinese chilies from seed that I have no clue at all what variety they are. Sometimes I find chilies I really like, and if I can get the seeds, I get the seeds. There we go. Ready to blend. I have made an executive decision. With so much volume in here, I can use my blender, which is a lot faster and easier. The reason I use the stick blender sometimes is that my sambal doesn't really have a lot of volume. It sometimes just kicks around in the bottom of the blender, but this is going to be great. Now, I want to scrape down the sides of this. Always do that off the machine. That way you will never, never, never hurt yourself. Or you can unplug the machine. Just scrape down the sides. It helps the blender to process all of these chunky ingredients, right? And the reason that I want them really well chopped is because they'll make a better sauce. And the better sauce, well, the better it clings to the ribs. I have 2 or 3 tablespoons of oil in a big cast iron pot. And look at all of this sambal. I have this on a very low heat to start. Now, why so much sambal for 1 rack of ribs? Well, this is a version of, well, for want of a better expression, a master sauce. So the leftover sauce that I am going to have from this dish, I can do a stir fry in, I can just eat with rice, So I am going to get all of this sambal out of here. You'll see that I actually make more sauce than I need to. So now we're going to fry this sambal. Very, very, very important. By frying this gradually over low to medium heat, liquid will come out of it. We'll start to caramelize the lemongrass, the shallots, the ginger, the chilies, the scallions, and then we will add our pork, our liquids, put a lid on this, and braise away. I don't know if you can see this here, but after a minute or two, parts of it are starting to brown, but the whole thing is turning bright green because those scallions that are in there are turning color. The water that's sizzling is the water that's coming out of it. But you can see here on the bottom, there is some nice browning going on. We're looking for this whole thing to turn toasty and golden as the shallots and garlic slowly caramelize in there. The smell is just unbelievable. What you want to not do is stick your head over and inhale, because all of those chilies, oh my Lord, knock your head right off. All right, this has been cooking for about 5 minutes now, and a lot of that water has come out of everything, and you can start to see that this mixture has shrunk in volume, right? Because a lot of those ingredients have a lot of water weight, scallions, shallots, garlic. So it's shrunk in volume, and it's starting to caramelize in spots. So every time you stir it, like a roux, it just starts to get darker and darker. So I stir it about once every 2 minutes. We'll just come back in 2 minutes more and see how it is. All right, look what happened. All that water evaporated, and because you cannot brown in the presence of moisture, the minute the water all evaporated, it started to brown. And you can actually see the browning on that sambal and at the bottom of the pot. When that happens, we add our ribs. Give those a good stir. And I'm using a really big pot. This is a 16-quart Le Creuset oval. So I get everything in one layer there, and I start adding the rest of my ingredients. A nice tablespoon of chicken bouillon, a little bit of salt, a little bit of MSG, about a 1/4 teaspoon, a little bit of oyster sauce, maybe 2 tablespoons, a little bit of soy sauce, a little bit of rice wine, and 2 cups of water. Give it a good stir. Bring it back to 1 layer in there. Very, very, very important. And the reason that that's important is you want to promote even cooking. We're going to let this come to a simmer, lower the heat to maintain a simmer, and put that lid on it. I'm going to put 5 or 6 macroute lime leaves sliced up on top there so they braise in there and give all of their limey intensity to this dish. And I can see that it's starting to simmer. Nice big lid goes on. Lower the heat, and we'll cook this for about an hour, hour and 15 minutes and see where we got. I always forget. about a teaspoon of sugar. Now, an hour and 15 minutes, and we'll see where we get. So as I said before, this is a Thai dish. And one of the things that Thai food relies on, Vietnamese and Cambodian food too, lots of fresh herbs. So at the end of the cooking process here, I am going to dump all of these garlic chives. I am going to add some whole Thai basil leaves to make sure that these are all separated and I don't have any big pieces of stem in there. And I'm going to season with some fresh lime and fish sauce. Okay, so these have cooked for about an hour and 7 minutes, and that's not fat on the top. That is liquid. Those are yummy, yummy, yummy juices, and all of that thicker stuff are the solids from the sambal. So here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to lose sauce or over reduce it and intensify some of those flavors. It is very, very strong as it is. And I encourage you at this point, taste your sauce, because you will then know, hey, need to add some salt, just a bit. It's very spicy. I'm going to add just a little bit of fish sauce. I'm going to add the juice of about 1/3 of a lime. You know, maybe a teaspoon and a quarter of fresh lime juice just to brighten this up. I've got all of these herbs, remember? And I want to stir that Thai basil and those chives in. But I also have a little bit of a cornstarch slurry here. I don't know, 2 tablespoons with maybe a tablespoon of cornstarch in there. And I'm just gonna stir that together just to get a little body in that sauce. Not much cornstarch at all, but you can see what that did there. And remember what I said at the beginning about wanting that master sauce? This is the stuff that dreams are made of. Why do the dogs always know when the dish is finished? They just do. This is a great first course. It is a great sharing course to put on the table with lots of other food on the table as well, especially if you like to serve this in the style that I do, which is with lots of different dishes all on the table at the same time. Look at that. And how do they taste? Spicy, herbaceous. That lemongrass just teams up so well, cooking for an hour. Well, more. 20 minutes, half an hour to caramelize, another hour braising. And then with that lime juice to finish, you just get a double citrus punch. Well, triple with the macroot lime leaves. With a big pot of rice, a couple other side dishes around this. This is going to be a favorite in your household for years to come. And whacking them in half, totally the way to go. Riblets over ribs, especially for braised ones, every day of the year. Enjoy.